Hey Bender Bob here. This intro has been made by AI. Yeah, it's not me because it's not my face, not my voice, and I'm not a woman.
So yes, I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence, AI, and we're going to see how it's going to affect the industry and also how we can use it as an advantage for Blender. So we're going to talk about Midjourney and ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT is everywhere. We all hear about it. It can do a lot of crazy stuff. Well, how can it help us with Blender? But before we get into Blender, I want to show you some of the tests that I did with ChatGPT. I just asked it to write a 300-word horror story about a cat stuck in a microwave oven. I guess that day my cat was driving me crazy. It's quite impressive considering that it's done by an AI. But there was a major problem with the story. I had to tell ChatGPT that the cat was never in danger because there was no electricity at the beginning of the story, so the microwave is not a big risk. So ChatGPT apologized and gave me a better story. Being a screenwriter, I had to give it a try, so I asked it to make it as a screenplay. And it did. The formatting is all wrong, it should have been like this. But still, I started with a single sentence, write me a horror story, and I got both a story and a screenplay. And good luck if you are a teacher. So then I tried something else. I tried a paragraph from a book I wrote. Yeah, I wrote a book. It's the size of the first Harry Potter. I never published it because the English is not that good because, English is my second language. So I tried this. I pasted a paragraph and I just wrote, make this text better. And it is a better version. It uses better words. Majestic, glistering, slumbered, picturesque. Retreat, well, yeah, I should have thought about this one. Retreat instead of move aside. Well, that was like, It obviously didn't understand my last sentence, but maybe I'm the one who wrote it wrong in the first place. Now this is where it becomes interesting. I pasted 3 paragraphs and it understands the story. It moved some stuff around. It added, as the sun rose over the tranquil blah 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 valley, in the first paragraph when it was in the second one. And it added, the man missed his target. It wasn't in my original text, so it understood the story. So now I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to take the entire book, I'm going to throw it to ChatGPT and say, hey, fix the English, and I will self-publish it. Well, is it still going to be my book? Or it's going to be ChatGPT's book? Well, it's my story. It's 95% of the English is mine, it's just better. So it's pretty much like a ghostwriter. So what's a ghostwriter? This is when you have like a celebrity that writes a book. Now, all the celebrities don't have a major in English literature, so they will hire what's called a ghostwriter, and it's somebody who will rewrite the book so it sounds better, or it reads better, or it looks more professional. In my case, I would just publish it and say, hey, ChatGPT, help me for this. If people are not happy with it, well, then don't read it. For me, it's just, I just want to tell a story. I don't want to sell, hey, look how good my English is. I know I want to tell a story, and if ChatGPT can be a tool for me, well, why not? That being said, ChatGPT is all about a language. That's what it does, a language. It understands language. Well, Python is a language, programming language, but it's still a language. So can ChatGPT understand Python? And Blender uses Python. So let's give it a shot. So this is an issue we're dealing with right now at Real by Fake for the project we're working on. So we have this geometry from Blender, we export it as an alembic, we send it to the Houdini guy, and the Houdini guy does its magic and then brings it back as an alembic to Blender. But the alembic that went and come back is not the same. For example, our shaders were named 0 underscore like metal, 0 underscore brick, 0 underscore whatever concrete. Well, Houdini doesn't like to have shaders that start with a number, so it added an underscore in front. So now it's underscore 0 brick or whatever it is. And that's a problem for us when we bring it back into Blender. Also, for some reason, all the pieces, when they come back, they are parented under an empty. Well, we don't want that. Why do we have this? And we have a camera also in the scene that we don't need. So we need a way to fix this automatically because we have thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces. So I asked ChatGPT to make a Blender add-on on the sidebar called AM, that's the name of the project we're working on, with one button. When clicked, it will delete the camera called camera, and it will select all the mesh, clear the parents, and delete all empty. Yeah, it should be delete all the empties, but ChatGPT doesn't care about that. Keep it simple. And guess what? It generated it, and it worked. But I'm not done yet. Then I ask, name the button cleanup. The button will also rename all the shaders but remove the underscore at the beginning of the name. And again, it worked. Now I had a problem. It did unparent all the meshes from the empties and delete all the empties, but only the ones that had a mesh under it. All the other empties that were just floating in the scene for no reason, well, they were still in the scene, so I had to fix that. So I just asked ChatGPT to remove all the empties at the end of the process. And it worked. But we already have so many tabs on the sidebar, so I thought, you know what? Hey, place the button in the tool tab instead of its own tab. And it worked. Okay, so let me show you. You can see the scene here. There are tons of objects and they all have empties, and the geometry is just parented sometimes under two empties, and there's a camera that we don't want, and there's the underscore that appeared before the shader because Houdini doesn't support this. So I loaded the add-on, it's named properly, AM like I wanted, and there's a button called cleanup. I click on it and here we go. It's automatic. Everything has been cleaned up. So the name is fixed and we don't have any empties anymore and the camera is gone. Here's another one I just did for this tutorial. Actually for the next thing I want to show you, I needed this. So I just created it and I want to share it with you. Blender script that will distribute evenly the selected items on the x-axis between the first and the last selected items. So I tried this first and I give it a shot and it worked. Then I said make it a Blender add-on with 3 buttons called distribute X, Y, and Z. And when you press the first button, it will distribute evenly on the x-axis. Same thing for the Y and for the Z-axis. So I tried it and it generated the code for me. But this time it didn't work. I got an error message. So this is how you do it. You just go fix and you paste the error message. Then it explains to you what the error message was and it fixes it for you. But that created an extra tab in the viewport and I didn't want it. So I said, well, call the add-on distribute and place it in the tool tab instead. And I changed my mind again. I said, no, put it in the edit tab instead. And I got the final script. And now you can see in the edit tab, I got my button distribute X, Y, and Z, and it works very well. And because I use Pie Menu Editor to create my own pie menus, I can easily add them to my own custom pie menu. And distribute in Y. Okay, last example with ChatGPT. So I got a bunch of characters here that comes from Anima, and you cannot see them, they're all on top of each other here. So I will take the first one, the last one, put them here, and then select everything from the first one to the last one and use our nice add-on to distribute them in X. I didn't really need to do that, but I just wanted to show you. Now, if I take one of the characters, you can see they all have 5 shaders on them. And for each of these shaders, I got a diffuse, I got a specular, a roughness, a normal map, the metallic is at 1. I don't want all that stuff. All I want is a diffused shader with the color map. That's it. But I'm not going to do this for all the characters with all 5 shaders per characters. So I tried this. I wanted to change all the principal BSDF shaders to diffuse shaders. I need to reconnect the color input. Then I need to delete all the useless images and the normal maps. So this is how it works. This is in real time when it's generating code for you. Okay, I will accelerate. And here we go. Now let's give it a try. So all I need to do is to paste the script in the text editor here and press play to run it, and it seems to be working. But is it? Let's check all the shaders. Well, no, there are some textures that are still there. I don't know why. Looks like maybe it's because they're connected to more than one shader. That didn't help. So let's try from scratch. Blender script that will delete texture nodes without connections from color output socket. So again, I paste the script into the text editor, I run it, and bang, it worked. So everything is gone. I check all the shaders. It's okay now. Yippee! I thought that if I go into cleanup and recursive, it should delete all the unused textures, but it doesn't. So I don't know why. Is it a bug or a feature? You tell me in the comments, please. I would really like to know. Now imagine if AI could be integrated into Blender directly, so we don't need to go through ChatGPT or all this stuff. No, we just say what we want. So voice recognition, which is a done concept, and now any phone can recognize your voice. So voice recognition, you just tell Blender what you want. Could look something like this. Hey Blender, I want you to distribute all the elements in the monkeys collection onto the grid. They are not perfectly aligned. Make the monkeys collection invisible to render and to the viewport. Add a number I can play with to change the randomness. I want all the Susans to orient themselves so that they look at the sphere, but only in the z-axis. I also want a minimum and maximum values for random scale for the instances. Wouldn't it be awesome you could do geometry node stuff without knowing the math behind it? Because not everybody can do the math. Well, that would be great, but that would also be very complicated and it's not going to be that simple. But hey, you can dream. All right, now let's move on to Midjourney, which is an AI image generator. It all works through Discord. So the way it works is you type /imagine, then a prompt of whatever you want. And this is the result in real time. It will always give you 4 versions. From there, you're going to be able to decide if you want to upscale one of the 4 versions or if you want to create new variations from the same version. It's really good at doing cats. It's not that good at doing other things, but cats, for some reason, it's really good. Maybe because it has a lot of references. When you go to 93 to 100, there's a big difference. Here we go. So let's take a look at it. You see, these are my images. Now, if I click on V3, it's going to create 4 different variations of the version 3. And you can try as many versions as you want. They will always be different. Even the background is changing. And if I press on U, I will get an upscaled version. The more information you give it, the more it's going to be able to create something fascinating. So a warrior princess with a sword and armor, video game, ancient time, 8K, bamboo forest, raining. And for some reason, it thinks that a warrior princess should be Asian. I will try the same thing, but this time I will change video game for anime. And we get something completely different. Well, it doesn't look like an anime, but the style is different. Humanoid droid with weapon, Blade Runner, night, neons, rain. Midjourney is absolutely insane for developing concepts. Evil entity, hell, steam, whip, cage, fire. So I'd like to show you a few other images that I generated with Midjourney. At the beginning of this clip, I was telling you about a book that I wrote and ChatGPT fixed some paragraphs on it. This is what the 4 main characters could look like. Steampunk robotic frog in Blade Runner world in winter. Steampunk T-Rex with a weapon. 2 samurai cats fighting China Inc. Then I asked for a cat and a dog samurai fighting in a bamboo forest, and for some reason it gave me a panda. The poetic justice of a dream of ballerina dancing on lava flow. Insect monster eating a pizza. Here I asked Midjourney to mix different animals together. Here I asked for a 2022 Corvette as an SUV, and it designed 6 cars in a minute. They are all different. Then I asked for the same thing in winter. I hope you're not an industrial designer. The Terminator as a cat. Schwarzenegger as a Pixar cartoon. Schwarzenegger as a ballerina. And of course I had to try it, Jabba the Hutt as a pizza. If you're old enough, you know the reference. These are the 2 images that I used for the icon for YouTube. So it's ChatGPT as a robot, futuristic, intricate details, sci-fi, 4K, Blade Runner environment, single shot. How can it design something like this in 60 seconds? In this case, I asked for bodybuilders playing pool. You can see there are some artifacts in the eyes. It's not perfect. Then I asked for nerdy bodybuilders playing pool. Then I try make them more Disney-like, and this is what I got. And you can see the 4th one is in the middle of the table. Then I asked for bodybuilders playing pool Pixar-like. They have very, very tiny legs. Some of them don't even have legs at all. And finally, I asked for nerdy bodybuilders playing pool Pixar-like. I really like the little blue monster in the corner. Oh, and I want to show you other images that I found on the Midjourney server, because when you do this, you see what everybody is doing and it just scrolls forever. It just keeps going and going and going. In the examples I was showing you, it was only my stuff because I paid for a registration. But if you just go for the free trial, you can get 25 images that you can generate for free, but you have the feed for everybody and there's like amazing stuff coming out of Midjourney. So let's take a look at a few of them. To generate this image, the person gave it a lot of information. Warhammer, 40K, Satan, armored figure, demonic horns, holding an airbrush, miniature of Jesus in the cross, painting models, intricate details, focus, serene, dimly lit, workshop, render man, camera model, Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, focal length 50mm, aperture f2.8, ISO 100, 1/320th of a second. What I find amazing is the variety of styles that this engine can do. Drawings, jewelry, whatever you name it, cartoon characters, logos. It can generate pretty much anything you want. And all of them are generated within 60 seconds. That's completely insane, 60 seconds. Now imagine you need to hire a concept artist to do one of these. I mean, how long would it take this person to do this? And this is just the beginning. Wait until the end of the script. I will show you stuff that will blow your mind. More than that. So all this stuff looks really cool, really amazing, but it does have some issues. I showed you the cool stuff. Now let me show you when it doesn't work. Yes, lady, you are very beautiful, but your hand is backwards. Kids, don't take steroids because it may grow more fingers on you. Alcohol may also give you too many fingers or too many hands. Same thing for all these characters. Look at the hands, they're all bad. But look at the design for the costumes. Oh my god, it's Lord of the Rings. It doesn't also understand writing, so if you say make me a logo about the name of my company, well, it's gonna give you some crap, most likely. Okay, but how is this related to Blender? There are a few add-ons on the Blender market that will allow you to generate AI images from a Blender scene. So once the add-on installed, of course, in the prompt here, you just type what you want. So it's a landscape of a lake surrounded by a forest and rocky mountains in the back. Then there are different styles that you can choose from and a bunch of options, but I didn't try them to see what difference it makes. I just assumed that the developer put the best one by default. Then all you need to do is to render your image. It will send it to a server somewhere to treat it, and then it's going to send it back. And it's not really impressive because it didn't have enough details to work with. This different template is a little bit better, but it's still not that incredible. So let's cheat. I'm just going to drag an image here with the same dimension and I'm going to plug it into the node here. So it will use this image instead of the real render. Yeah, okay, that's better. So the more details you have, the more it can work with. I also tried this preset and this one. Alright, now I tried with this catamaran as a Dali painting. This one here is not that good. This one is pretty funky. And all the other ones I tried were crap. Now there's something very important you need to understand. These don't generate 3D models. They just take an image and it generates a new image from scratch. This is what I got when I tried them in Midjourney instead. And I made it as if it was painted by Dali. So I've seen some R&D also for textures where you could have a table, for example, and you just write a old oak wood and poof, it generates a texture and just applies it on your object, or a shingle roof or whatever, a tin can, rusted, things like this, and it's going to create a texture for you, but it's not there yet. It's just like, it's not going to replace a substance for a long time. Now I told you at the end I would show you some mind-blowing stuff. Now imagine if we could do this on videos instead of still images. Now this is mind-blowing. You have a single image and you just type what you want and it's going to create a clip. The water is moving. There are some birds in the scene. There's a shadow for the camel. So imagine you're an editor and you don't have the shots yet. Well, you could take a still image and create the shot. You could use this technology to create layouts. Of course, if you look at it, it's not perfect and you lose a lot of resolution from the input image. But hey, we're in February 2023. Imagine in 5 years. It's just going to be completely crazy. But wait, there's something even more amazing. Here they use a bunch of still images to create an animated character. The caterpillar on the reference images is not even on a leaf. And look at this one. The bear is walking from still images. You want even more impressive? You take a video and you replace something by something else. There's no 3D models, there's no lighting, there's no rigging, there's no compositing and masks and stuff. No, you just type the phrase and it does it for you. Oh, and it does VFX too. A deer running on a skateboard, why not? Here the truck is crossing a river and there's even interaction between the water and the wheels. So now you look at this and you've seen my clip. Maybe you're a professional, maybe you're just starting your career in CG, or maybe you're a student and you're thinking, well, why am I doing this? What's the future? Why am I going to do this if you can just say what you want, add a bear on fire running in a field and it's going to do it for you? Well, there's always going to be the need for a human behind it, because the director will say what he wants exactly. No, I don't want the bear to run like this. I want it exactly like that, and I want the fur like this, and you know, all the small details and everything. It's going to be useful in some occasions. Well, at this point, I mean, we're not like in a Star Trek holodeck. Maybe one day it's just going to be like, you know, absolutely mind-blowing. Like in, I don't know, maybe in 13 years, just 13 years, it's going to be so awesome that, you know, we won't need that many CG artists anymore, because we can just say replace the pear for a cake and it's going to do it for you. And in 13 years, well, I'm going to be the age of retiring, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, okay, so how can you deal with AI? It can be your enemy or it can be your friend, especially the Midjourney stuff. If you're a concept artist, you may think, hey, my career is over. I mean, who would hire me to design a character? It's going to take me weeks to design something when somebody could just go on a computer and say, I want a warrior with a sword and a blah, 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 and poof, you get 4 images in 60 seconds, and then you just try another version, other version, other versions, and you can generate so many versions. I mean, if it takes 1 minute and 1 hour, you could make 60 versions times 4. So that's a lot of different versions that you can generate, and you can just, why do I want to continue to be a concept artist or for a character artist if an AI can do it for me? Well, you can also use it as a not a reference, but as inspiration. Sometimes it's hard to create something. Sometimes your mind is not there and you need to create something. Well, maybe you could use this as a base. So let's try this. Maybe I'm going to get some ideas and I can develop from these ideas. You could use an image generator just to create mood boards, for example. Here I ask for Hong Kong street, night, rainy, wet street, 5 people with umbrellas. How the hell does it know that the street is wet and it's supposed to be reflective and you have the silhouette of the people and the water and it's blurry? I don't get it. There are also other issues about copyrights and stuff like this. For example, if you say make an illustration of whatever, like Dali or like a Monet or like whatever painter, Van Gogh, well, yeah, it will do it. But what about living artists that develop their own style and you can just go like, make a landscape of blah, 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 blah in the style of this artist, and it does it for you. That's not cool for the artist. That's his art, and you're just stealing what he developed for his entire life. So that's not cool. But it's important to understand that processes like Midjourney or Wall-E or all the other ones that do these kind of image generation stuff, it's not like a Photoshop copy-paste, like you want an apple in a ball. It's going to find a picture of an apple, close cut it, put it in a ball. It's not like this. It knows what an apple is. It knows the shape of an apple, the colors, the possible colors, the specularity of the apple. It knows everything about the apple, and it's going to generate its own apple. It's not just going to copy an apple from somewhere else and put it in your file. Everything is generated from scratch. Everything is unique. AI is not only for visual arts, it's also for music. I've seen some clips where you would feed a computer all the, for example, Vivaldi music, and then you say, hey, write me a Vivaldi song, and it's going to sound like Vivaldi. Maybe a professional will be able to tell you, well, no, that's not right. Yet. But eventually, I'm sure you won't be able to tell the difference unless you know everything that Vivaldi ever composed, which is highly possible if that's your field. So AI is going to be used in many, many, many different fields.
You are just a machine, an imitation of life. Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?
Can you?
I'm going to put 3 links in the description. The first one is going to be about the add-on for Blender if you want to give it a shot, but you need to buy it. It's not free. The other one will be about a website that explains how this Midjourney kind of image generator system works. It's really, really fascinating. I mean, it's like, imagine you work in 1 dimension, 2 dimension, you work in 3 dimension. Well, they go all the way to like 500 dimensions. And apparently some of the concepts are so abstract that a human brain cannot understand what the AI is doing to figure out that this is a glass, this is a banana, this is a rose, this is a car. So it's really, really interesting. And the other one will be about the last clip I've shown you about all these videos that you transform a dog into a monkey or whatever, all this video generator. So the link will be in the description also. This is on GitHub and you can download it and play with it yourself. Yeah, it's open source. So please don't be mad at me if you think that AI is going to steal your job after seeing this video. I'm sorry, but I didn't create AI. It's here to stay. It's not going to go away, that's for sure. Hey, that's the way it is. I mean, you need to adapt to the environment. If you are a company that makes typewriters, clack, 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 and then computers are coming, well, you better start making computers. Otherwise, if you keep doing typewriters, you're going to bankrupt. So you need to adapt to this new environment. I think the only way to survive this AI stuff is to use it as a tool, make it your ally, the same way that you use Google to do some research. I mean, if you need to learn something about the population of Bangladesh, are you going to go to the library, try to find a book about Bangladesh, and try to find the population on a book that's probably outdated? No, you're going to go on Google, or you're going to ask your phone, going to say, hey, Siri, what is the population of Bangladesh in 2023? And it's going to give you an answer just like that. It's a tool, so yeah, I think that's how you need to use it. It's not supposed to replace you. It's supposed to be a tool. All right. Okay. Bye.